Hello, welcome to study of the divine principle. Uh, Here we will talk about introduction to the book of the divine principle. This book it's a book which can explain the the whole problem that human beings have and the solution also. First, in a sense, this book is talking about the the people's people have two kind of parts, good and bad. So we'll talk about the good part and the bad part, and how we can solve the bad part. So it wouldn't have we wouldn't have problems with the bad part, because this is affects all people and all history. Okay, let's start. The full title of the book is Exposition of the Divine Principle. When you see the diagrams in the divine principle, you often will see this type of graph, like uh, an arrow which goes up, and at some point it's turning and going down. It's a very common graph in the divine principle, which explains the purpose of this graph is to show that human beings, it's related to human beings growth, how they're growing, and they're supposed to grow to become perfect human beings. However, at some point during their growth, they turn in the wrong way, and they weren't able to achieve the goal to become perfect, good people, and they become people who uh, have the to inherited some evil part so they have good, because originally they were good, but they inherited some evil, and they have when they are in this position, they have this struggle between good and evil. So you often will see this graph. I just explain shortly why this graph in divine principle so often. So let's start this introduction of the divine principle. Divine principle has two parts. First part has 7 chapters, and second part has 6 chapters. Second part has also an introduction, but that introduction is related to the restoration part. Is related to explain the principles of restoration. An introduction to the principles of restoration. This part is the part in the beginning of the book, which is the introduction for the whole book, and that's the difference between this introduction and the introduction from the second part of the book. Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. How does happiness arise? People feel joy when their desires are fulfilled. The word desire, however, is often not understood in its original sense, because in our present circumstances, our desires tend to pursue evil rather than good. The original mind is well aware that the desires pursuing evil lead to misfortune. Therefore, it repels evil desires and strives to follow the good. Even at the cost of their lives, people seek for the joy that can enrapture the original mind. Within the self-same individual are two opposing inclinations: the original mind, which desires goodness, and the evil mind, which desires wickedness. Any being possessing such a contradiction within itself is doomed to perish. Therefore, human beings, having acquired this contradiction, live on the brink of destruction. Can it be that human life originated with such a contradiction? If burdened by such a contradiction from its inception, human life would not have been able to arise. The contradiction, therefore, must have developed after the birth of the human race. Christianity sees this state of destruction as the result of the human fall. When we realize the fact that we have arrived at the brink of self-destruction, we make desperate efforts to resolve the contradiction within by repelling the evil desires and embracing the good desires. Nevertheless, we have been unable to find the ultimate answer to the question, what is the nature of good and evil? Consider that from the viewpoint of the intellect, the human fall represents humanity's descent into ignorance. People are composed of two aspects, internal and external, or mind and body. Likewise, the intellect consists of two aspects, internal and external. In the same way, there are two types of ignorance: internal ignorance and external ignorance. Internal ignorance in religious terms is spiritual ignorance about questions such as what is the origin of human beings, what is the purpose of life, does God and the next world exist, what happens after death, what is the nature of good and evil. External ignorance refers to ignorance of the natural world, including the human body, with questions such as what is the origin of the physical universe, what are the natural laws governing all phenomena, from the dawn of history until today, human beings have ceaselessly searched for the truth with which to overcome both types of ignorance and attain knowledge. Internal quest for truth, God's words, and external quest for knowledge, natural laws. Through religion, humanity has followed the path of searching for internal truth. Spiritual truth. And through science has followed the path of seeking external truth, physical truth. Religion and science, each in its own sphere, have been the methods of searching for truth in order to conquer ignorance and attain knowledge. Eventually, the way of religion and the way of science should be integrated, and their problems resolved in one united undertaking. The two aspects of truth, internal and external, should develop in full harmony and unity. Only then, completely liberated from ignorance and living solely in goodness, will we enjoy eternal happiness. Religion and science, setting out with the missions of dispelling the two aspects of human ignorance, have seemed in the course of their development to take positions that were contradictory and irreconcilable. The position of religion is that creation of the universe took 6 days. The position of science is that creation of the universe took 13.6 billion years. Human history, religion says that human history is roughly 6,000 years. Science is saying that human history is around 250,000 years. That's why they are irreconcilable. They have different takes on these questions. However, for humankind to completely overcome the two aspects of ignorance and fully realize the goodness which the original mind desires, there must emerge a new truth to reconcile religion and science and resolve problems in an integrated undertaking. The religion and science itself, they cannot reconcile by themselves. We cannot reconcile. What can reconcile religion and science is a new understanding of truth, new expression of truth that can, you have two children and they cannot get along, and they can get along when parents coming. Parents can have that potential to reconcile children. So you can see the new truth as this parent can reconcile religion and science. Religious believers consider that the scriptures they have are already perfect and flawless. While truth itself is eternal, immutable, and absolute, scriptures are textbooks given at various times in history as humankind developed both spiritually and intellectually. Jesus indicated that God would someday reveal a new truth. I have said this to you in figures. The hour is coming when I shall no longer speak to you in figures, but tell you plainly of the Father. John chapter 16, verse 25. So we can see from Jesus also mentions this new truth, a new expression of truth. So this is the new expression of truth that has this potential to reconcile religion and science. What missions must the new truth fulfill? It should reconcile the internal truth pursued by religion and the external truth pursued by science. It should lead fallen people away from the ways of the evil mind and pursue the goals of the original mind, thus removing the contradiction of good and evil. So the new expression of truth has this mission, to remove this contradiction of good and evil within human beings. Actually, we are now study a portion of this new truth. So I encourage everyone to take a look at this, the divine principle. It has the potential to solve the many problems that we have within ourselves, in society, in the world. It should be able to reveal the reality and heart of God. His heart of joy at the time of creation. The broken heart he felt when humankind, his children whom he could not abandon, rebelled against him, and his heart of striving to save them throughout the long course of history. This new truth should first elevate the idealism of the democratic world to a new level, then use it to assimilate materialism, and finally bring humanity into a new world. These truths must be able to embrace all historical religions, ideologies, and philosophies and bring complete unity among them. So, number four, this is number five. Number four was to reconcile democracy and materialism. We can understand politics. In politics, we have a big war between right wing and left wing, democracy and communism. Materialism we can understand like a communism. And this new truth has the potential even to solve the political this political strife. And even bigger war is between religions. So nobody even tried to reconcile religion. This is people see as an impossible task. So but the new expression of truth has the potential to unify even the religions. This is how powerful this truth is. So I really strongly recommend everybody to study the divine principle. Divine principle is just a portion of this truth, but it can be like it can be the first step. Since the purpose of truth is to realize goodness, and since God is the origin of goodness, God will be the center of the world founded upon this truth. Everyone will adore and serve God as their parent and live in harmony with each other in family love. Divine principle is a theistic philosophy. So it presupposes the existence of God. And without God, the problems that we talked about before cannot be solved. What is the difference here? Because the understanding of the truth, divine principles, is giving a new way of understanding the truth, so that can help to reconcile religion and science, help to reconcile good and evil within human beings, help to reconcile democracy and communism, or left and right, helps to reconcile, can reconcile the strife between religions. The ultimate purpose of God's work is salvation. God's work of salvation is to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. The new truth should guide fallen people to return to their original state. Original state, when divine principles talks about original state, it talks about this point from which when human beings were supposed to grow. You can see this graph, they're growing upward, they were growing, and then this point they supposed actually to go further, to grow until they reach this is the line of perfection, we call it. But at this point they fail, go below the starting point even. So this is when we call it the original state, is new truth should help people, should guide fallen people, people who've fallen, not just people who've fallen, but should guide people to original state, to the position before they fell, to this position. So from this position they would grow, continue to grow. So this is the one purpose of this truth, of the new truth. And achieve happiness. To do this, it must reveal the purpose for which God created humankind and the universe. What's the reason we cannot, we are fallen and we have these problems and we cannot grow, we cannot achieve happiness, we cannot go beyond? Because we don't understand the purpose of our existence. And the purpose for our existence was given by the Creator, the one who created human beings. So when we create something, we give the purpose for, we create something for a purpose. Let's take a computer. Computer was created with a purpose. The purpose was first, and computer was appeared because of the purpose, actually. And human beings are created creatures. And that's why the Creator had a purpose in mind when created them. And we, human beings, if we don't understand this purpose, we are doomed to fall. We are doomed to misfortune, because we might do things that contradict the purpose, and that's why we can find ourselves in the fallen state. And that's the reason we need to understand it and need to study the truth, because we need to understand what is the purpose of what is our purpose, and we need to come out of this ignorance. This ignorance is one of the major reasons why we find ourselves in such a problematic state, and why the world is in this chaos. And teach about the process of their restoration and its ultimate goal. The purpose for which God created human beings is the same before people fell and after people fell. Divine Principle has also a chapter which has an explanation of how people which are in a fallen state can reach the purpose anyway, can achieve the purpose. The purpose can be achieved by both the people who are not fallen and people who are fallen too. So there is and for the people who are in a fallen state, this is a little bit different process than the people who are not in fallen state. But there is similar process, but and the people who are in a fallen state, they have to go through some specific situations and achieve specific. They need to overcome specific trials to achieve specific goals, and to come back to the original state and continue their growth to happiness. And this is the process of the restoration of human beings, which is explained basically in the second part of this book. However, we have a glimpses of it in the first part too, but the second part, it basically explains the restoration process, and this Divine Principle has this explanation. like the divine principle is organized in the way of let's take medical education. We in order to okay, we have sick people, but to understand how to heal the people who get sick, we need to understand what what is the condition of their first when they are healthy, and that's why when we have a healthy body and we have a sick body, we can compare. If the body doesn't match the healthy body, means the body is sick. That's that. But if we don't have this comparison, we cannot understand this, that the people are sick. So that's the structure of divine principle. We first study in medical science. They study first the anatomy, the how the human body is healthy, the works, and after they study the difference what the human body when it's sick, and after they study how to heal the therapy. But if you don't have the healthy understanding of the healthy part of the human body, we have a hard time to understand how to apply the therapy. This is the same principle. We need to study what is the healthy, what the human being supposed to be like, and we study what they became, how they find themselves in the fallen state, and also we study the therapy, the principle of restoration, because we can see the difference between the healthy and the not healthy part, and and the ultimate life-giving truth, however, cannot be discovered through an exhaustive investigation of scriptures or scholarly texts, nor can it be invented by any human intellect. As is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 11, you must again prophesy about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. This truth must appear as a revelation from God. Um, why this truth must appear as a revelation from God? It is because God created as I said, the divine principle is a theistic teaching. It presupposes that God created the world, and in order to understand the world's condition, we need to receive this understanding from God. So that's why this truth that we study now, this divine principle, is also a revelation from God. It's not just invented by somebody. God has sent one person to earth at this time in history to resolve the fundamental problems of human life and the universe. His name is Sun Myung Moon. He trod a bloody path of suffering in search of the truth. Through intimate spiritual communion with God and by meeting Jesus and many saints in paradise, he brought to light the secrets of heaven. So here is the short version of introduction. If you want to read a longer version, you need to read the book. The book is you can purchase, or there is in a digital form in the internet. You can find it and you can read. The introduction part is a more detailed explanation, much more. This is a shortened version, and Please take your time and take a look at the book and take effort to study. It will really help you. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great day.